are listening to the Chomp Cast, the official podcast of Sword Chomp. And remember, you can always go to swordchomp.com where you can access the many places our podcast is available for download. But if you're listening to the show right now, that means you found us. So welcome to the madness that is the Chomp Cast. You can also find us on Patreon, www.patreon.com/swordchomp. If you want to support us financially, look for the VIP tier. We have quite the show today. For those that are fiending for the newest Chompcast, you can take a sweet hit of this week's show and calm your chompy soul. Because the topic of the show this week is video game addiction and how it was recently classified as a mental illness. We debate that with help from our amazing community at Sword Chomp on Instagram. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We have a special guest today, a Pokemaniac special guest, joins us to shed some light on her dark side of the Ultra Moon. Pokemon style. A discussion that is always super interesting and enlightening, even if you have no interest in Pokemon. So stick around for that. I'll introduce our guest in just a moment here. And we have some quick shots of our Instagram polls right to your veins as we discuss the new Overwatch character, Glass, the unlikely final chapter in a Shyamalan trilogy, Shiny Pokemon, and the Fortnite phenomenon versus the Pokemon Go phenomenon. So it's going to be an amazing show, as you can tell. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as I mentioned, I'll probably save most of the Pokemon talk to the latter portion of the show because just in case you don't care about Pokemon, we'll have sort of a normal kind of format show and then we're going to delve into it because that's what we do. And that's why we love to have our special guest here to talk Pokemon with us, among other things. And that special guest is Melanie Dunn. We had her on last year. She's making her return appearance, Pokemon master, podcast host, lawyer, mother, you name it. How you doing, Melanie?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm out of breath after that intro, but other than that, I am. We're excited to have you. It's been a whole year since we've really been able to talk to you. So.
I know. A lot has been going on. A lot has changed. Good, less good, but you know.
Yeah. So you host the Rare Candy Pokemon podcast. We plugged that last time. It's a really cool podcast. You and your co-host play Pokemon games together. Kind of talk about it. Kind of walk through it. You guys are on a little bit of a hiatus right now.
Yeah.
But
we were in the middle of Soul Silver and Heart Gold. I do intend to finish the game, and there's just a question of whether I'm going to do Silver by myself or reassign Gold to my husband, who I've been trying to drag into this stuff. He was out of the country last year, but now he's back and working a lot, so it's tough. So.
Reassign. Okay, yeah. So he was gone last year. Okay. So that was the one that killed it, huh? Soul Silver killed the podcast.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't Soul Silver that killed it. It was, I think, my co-host's busy schedules and life events, and life happens. What are you gonna do? But social media is still somewhat active. I'm trying to post. I decided to play Ultra Moon instead. So I started that, and I was like, I'll just put a video of my unboxing and getting started with that game up. And people like it. I always get lots of hearts flying by on Instagram, and no worries. It's fun. It's Pokemon. Exactly the same every single game where you move to a town and talk to your mom and you start your journey. So,
Yeah. And I know, like, with us, we had that podcast that we initially had and it kind of died. And those things happen. It just, like, you initially put a lot into it and then there's just no more soul in it.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember that I wasn't around, or I don't know if I ever listened to your old podcast.
No one did.
Long time ago?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there were, I think we had 50 fans after a couple
be
years
named.
of doing it. It was,
that was
it was the most painful labor of love ever, undertaken by
is
man.
Painful. But then even those 50 fans, I mean, you want to keep that going, and I guess that's why this was hard for us because, my co-host Vin is the one who did all the technical stuff with the stats and monitoring and everything, but people were listeing, and I didn't want to let them down. So, and people would reach out to me on Instagram because I'm more over on that account. So I enjoyed that. So I feel really badly that things have been on a hiatus. And I know when I get annoyed when I like a podcast or I like a certain topic, and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I found these guys that talk about whatever topic, and then it disappears. So that's disappointing.
Well, that's, we're coming up on our 100th episode. You're on 99.
That's
you are
great.
number 99. You're on the precipice, Melanie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I will say that's one thing we've been able to take great pride in, but I will promise you it's not been easy. Not missing a week in years is, it has been.
That's really impressive. Yeah, it's something to celebrate.
Thank you. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Labor of love. But this isn't about us. You're not here to stroke our own ego now. Well, that's not true. It's about technically, it's about the Chompcast. But it's about the conversation today. We're glad you could be here. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'll introduce real quickly the rest of the crew that our listeners know and love. Up first, Fish is here from Texas, the Filipino Johnny Depp, Anthony Fisher. Now, Melanie, last time you were here, you mentioned this. Fish actually, remember, he had a Mr. Mime tramp stamp. That was a big deal.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Cute. Very nice.
Yeah, it was. Now, but he's looking for some suggestions, right, Fish? Because he wants to add to, what he's got going there. So he's been thinking, I know he's tossing it up between two things. There's he wants a Butterfree on the ankle to kind of keep the theme going. Or what was the other one you were thinking, Fish?
Well, I had a Mr. Mime on my back as a tramp stamp, and I realized that that's something that females usually get, so I felt very emasculated at that point when I realized that that tramp stamp was not making me, Is it really?
It's all right. Okay. Be proud. It's, enjoy
you
it.
Like a ridiculously masculine one now? Is that what you're...
Well, yeah.
You can get an onyx all the way down your arm.
Tattoo.
Just wrapped all the way around.
If we're going to get into gender roles or...
it's just Machamp beheading it's just Machamp beheading someone.
Okay, fair enough. Although, still, no.
Oh, go ahead, Fish. What is it? What are you thinking?
Well, I was going for more of the, a Yakuza gang has a big old tiger on their chest or something on their back, or a Chinese dragon. Well, I was thinking to go along with the theme of Pokemon, why not go with Gyarados, going all the way from my back, all the way to my front side and down my belly button and to the front.
Okay.
I like that. I like that. And you could put a little Magikarp on one of your ankles as well.
Yeah.
Or a montage of it transforming into Gyarados.
That on your ankle, and then as it goes up your calf,
evolving.
It's showing it evolving all the way into that Gyarados. That's the full body, full upper body Gyarados tattoo. I like it. I like that. Yeah.
I'll have to send you a pic, Josh.
I was thinking that he starts with a Magikarp on his ankle, and then it's just the Magikarp flopping all the way up to his genitals, and then it says, Magikarp, you struggle.
Well, I mean, there's ingenuity there, I guess. Yeah.
It's a very polite response.
There's some ingenuity there.
Yeah, it's different.
I love the idea that they're going to follow the Gyarados all the way around his back, and then at the bottom of its epic tail, they're going to see this little Mr. Mime above his ass. So, I mean, that's sort of the natural progression.
There's a way to redeem that Mr. Mime. You could actually have the Gyarados just about ready to devour it, just kind of coming down from on top of his back.
You're ruining it! God damn it!
Yeah.
I told Fish to think of a cool tattoo. Instead of going with the silly theme, he went with the badass theme. Sneaky Fish. You're a sneaky little fish, aren't you?
Well, my other idea was to have a Sudowoodo right there on top of my genitals.
A Sudowoodo? What?
Seems appropriate. If you're going to pick...
I mean, yeah, he has balls for hands, and he's a big, long piece of wood.
And wood is in the name, so... Okay.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I like that one better. I vote Sudowoodo.
Of course you would like that.
Can we just all
better.
vote Sudowoodo right here? It's a vote. Not even.
You got my vote, Fish.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Okay.
Good.
You get my vote as long as you find a creative way to involve body hair in the actual design of that tattoo.
Tall grass.
All right, let's go now. No.
Yeah, but before Melanie runs off, thank you for being here, Fish. As usual, I like those tattoo ideas. Good stuff. Glad you're here. Shay, as we mentioned, Melanie, Shay was absent last time you were on the show, so I'm glad he could be here because he's a big Pokemon guy as well. We used to have legendary Pokemon tournaments as friends back in the day, so it was a bummer that he couldn't be here for your first podcast. But yeah, Shay's here from Japan, the professor. How you doing this week, Shay?
Hey. I'm good. It's good to be. It's good to be here. I'm excited to do the podcast today.
There's an inside joke. You gotta explain it to people if you want, if you'd like. I'm sure they're wondering, what the geriatric hello was about.
Yeah. Just before the podcast, Fish pulled out dusted off the old Fonzie reference, and it evolved into us doing a geriatric version of it. All of us together in unison.
Well, his was geriatric. Fish, can you do another geriatric Fonzie for us live?
Hey.
That's not bad. Not bad. He got a little spring. He got a little healthier since the last time we heard him.
He did.
Yeah. He's doing well. He's doing well. I was worried about Fonzie the last time we heard him. Yeah.
You gotta check out.
He sounds good. He sounds good.
He does. He does.
It's really encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well,
I give hope to the old people out there.
You do. That's what your Fish is all about, hope.
Shout out to the old folks home who sponsor us.
Yeah, everyone over 70. That's our big demographic, the Chompcast. That's what our statistics are showing us. The over 70 crowd, we're killing it.
I wonder if we are. I wonder if there's anyone over 70 that listens to us.
Yes.
Like just that
what? I've been
a guy in the middle of Tennessee. He's since retired and just plays video games. Yells at his old wife Peggy to go get him another beer.
It's very descriptive.
I know.
Our one fan who this actually applies to
play Fortnite.
is fucking creeped out right now.
Fortnite.
He's going to go on a rant about the deep state, and we have caused the entire thing. We're just right now.
This was the beginning of the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's our new slogan for the Chompcast, the beginning of the end. Glad you're here, Shay. As usual. Finally get some Pokemon talk with you. And of course, Joshua Fowler is here from Michigan. Josh, this week, it's weird. Josh didn't talk to us a lot this week, but he kept sending us random photos of this. He was like updating his family's Nerf guns or something to look real fancy. Can you elaborate a little bit, Josh? I'm going to put one of these pictures on our Patreon page. If you'd like to sign up for our Patreon page, you can see exactly what Josh is doing this week.
Yeah. I decided to. Actually, I got paints to do this forever ago, and then we were way too busy for way too long, but I finally got around to customizing one of them, and just fully customized with, a paint job, one of the larger Nerf guns that we had as a family. And slightly increased the, firing pressure as well, just to kind of make it fun. Just make it fun.
Make it more dangerous.
When you shoot the 2-year-old, he actually feels pain. You go you shoot him and he just slow-mo goes flying into a window nearby, crashes through the window out into the front yard.
He needs to learn how to take a fall. It's.
I was gonna say that's what he gets for pulling his pants down and peeing on the floor. He needs to learn his lesson.
He's like, huh?
He knows where the newspaper is.
Been updating these. He's been jazzing up these Nerf guns all week. They're very fancy. I'm gonna get some pictures up and I'll show them to you. But they look legit. Like I was like, those don't even look like Nerf guns anymore. Josh, why do you have huge weapons in your house? What is going on here? But apparently, Josh, you found a new hobby, Josh. Don't you do something like? It's not the same thing at all. But I was seeing Melanie. You're like.